Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', my friends? Ooh, it's good to be back. Back in the saddle.
Yes, sir.
We got interesting content to bring you today. Before we jump into that, my name's Morgan Colby. Got Rick Lemon.
What's going on?
That pause was very long. And no, I was not forgetting your name.
I mean, it would make sense with this new haircut.
Yeah, Rick walked into my apartment today, which is where we do our podcast, and he has this new haircut, and he shaved his beard. Now, if you've been watching more recently, you should comment down below if you liked the beard or you didn't like the beard, because I told him to leave the beard and he shaved it off.
You know, you liked the beard. I got comments from my sister. Was not a fan.
Okay, which one?
Both. Both likes the clean shave more.
Okay.
My mom was the same, like the clean shave more.
Okay.
So you're actually the first person. That's only the three people that have had an opinion. So
yeah,
at least I got one for team beard. I don't know. I mean, it's not permanent. You know.
Well, I see. I know what it takes to get to a beard. Okay.
Yeah, you know what it takes to get to the next level.
Yeah, totally. So let's. Today we're going to talk about early quarterback and tight end rankings. We're going to cram all into one show because I hate talking about quarterbacks and tight ends for an entire week. Doesn't that suck? You waste an entire week on quarterbacks and tight ends, and no one watches it. Hopefully, we got some people on this podcast who want to listen to even us talk about the top 5 quarterbacks.
I'm a big quarterback guy, so I don't know why.
Seriously. Well, do you sit there and Google fantasy football quarterbacks? You already have your quarterback opinions.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's true.
It's not really that hard to determine who the top 5 are. Anyway, so before we jump into our early quarterback and tight end rankings, be sure to check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, at the FFChamps, on Instagram, at thefantasychampions. Like us, facebook.com/thefantasychampions. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, the best way to support our podcast is to subscribe on those platforms. And then go over to the review tab and leave us a glowing review, even if you have to lie.
But you don't have to lie.
But you don't have to lie.
Yeah, you don't have to lie.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. That'll help. Click the bell for notifications, because subscribing is not enough, and you'll get notifications whenever we possibly. You'll pull out your phone, you hit subscribe, click the bell. You click the bell for notifications, and then on your phone, every time we post a podcast, you'll get a notification that says, "Hey, the Fantasy Champions posted a podcast. Learn things today." Yep. And then destroy the YouTube algorithm by commenting, because that is the way to go. So
yes.
Just leave a comment down below. Anything you want. If you want to make fun of my hoodie this week, you can.
You want to make fun of my haircut? No facial hair.
It's like you still want to do that center part.
I know. I don't know.
It wants to go back, but it just goes this way.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just gonna let it do its thing.
Let's jump right into our early 2021. Early 2021 redraft quarterback and tight end rankings.
Yep.
I had to say it at least once.
A lot could change. You know?
Yes.
But actually, maybe not.
I feel like it's pretty. I know some.
You like my notes, by the way? I wrote my own notes.
Yeah, this
is what happens.
I can't say some of this stuff. Dak one leg out of H-Town D-Wads.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the first one because I feel like it's highly offensive.
Probably.
The 5'6" QB.
Yeah.
Is he 5'6"?
No. There's jokes about have you seen this stuff on Twitter with Kyler Murray where they edit him? So he's 2 feet tall but has a big helmet.
It's the memes.
Yeah,
they edit him 2 feet tall celebrating a touchdown.
Yeah, that's why I did 5'6".
That's awesome. So I feel like for my tight ends at this point, I think some things could change depending on the circumstances in Detroit, because there are 2 guys at the end. But I don't know. I know that there are a lot of people high on the Mark Andrews, so we'll talk about that on the show. But let's start off with our top 5 quarterbacks.
Sure.
Once again, ECR, I believe I got out of it. And okay, never mind, I didn't get out of it. Great news. We're going to go off ECR top 5, and then we'll tell you what our ranks are for those top 5. I'll just say Rick ranked Deshaun Watson top 5. I did not. I believe I have him 6. I don't know where he's going to live yet. So I don't want to. I probably will have him in the top 4 if he goes somewhere nifty.
Okay.
Like if he goes to the Jets, he'll be good.
Yeah,
but like,
that
be
definitely
fantastic. So, Houston's bad too, and he was like,
Houston is really
top
bad, but I mean, you could make the argument Houston has more weapons than the Jets as of
they have a
right
better
now.
offensive line too.
But who knows what the offseason? The Jets have a gazillion picks and a gazillion dollars to spend. So
we'll see what happens.
Knows,
So I don't know anything yet on Deshaun Watson. So I have him ranked 6, I believe, just to get him out of the way. But Rick has him 5. So he is in Rick's top 5.
Mm-hmm.
My top 5, we're probably going to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. So the first one on the list, pretty self-explanatory, is Patty Mahomes. And I think at this point, I feel like Mahomes hasn't finished as a QB1 in like 2 years.
I know.
So I feel like maybe we shouldn't rank him 1, but it's just
he's the safest. It's like
he would be the safest pick at quarterback. Like if you were going to take a quarterback in the top 3 rounds, it's a pretty safe bet that you're going to get production.
Yeah, even when he hasn't been the top guy, I mean, him at his floor feels like a top 5 fantasy quarterback, top 4. I still would not take him in the first 2 rounds, like a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's not too much to say. He's Patrick Mahomes.
He played 15 games and he had 380 fantasy points this year. If you give him his average of 25, that would put him up to 395, which puts him at QB2.
Number 1.
QB2.
Oh.
Josh Allen 405.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, and they benched him for that last game. So if you want to draft Pat, like we're in the game of we're in the business of predicting and guessing, and not guessing, but trying to predict what happens during the fantasy season. Educated guessing. So I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be QB1 next year. He's just 1 because there's a really good chance. But I would say that's best chance. Yeah,
if you had to put like percentages next to all the top guys, he would for sure have the highest percentage.
Now I want to go to the fantasy football calculator.
From last I saw, he was a 2nd round pick.
Gross, dude.
Yeah, it is gross, but I don't know if that's where he's actually going to end up.
There we go.
Because he was like that last year, and then he ended up going in the 3rd round, I think. So,
okay, let's change positions. QB. So right now he's going.
Oh gosh,
goodness gracious! This isn't even a super flex.
Is that that's not super?
110. I'm gonna go to PPR because 12 team PPR.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, 204 is where Patrick Mahomes is going right now. So
that's a little early for me, but I don't think he'll probably be like mid-2nd round. Late 2nd round, early 3rd round.
I agree. So if you feel like drafting a quarterback that high and you just go, man, I need it, then Patrick Mahomes is okay. But I'm not on board with that.
Yeah,
I will never probably have a share of Patrick Mahomes ever. You had to share of Patrick Mahomes because you drafted him in the 10th round. What was it, 9th?
12th round, bro.
Ridiculous.
Or 11th round, something like that.
The year he broke out. So yeah, I think everyone kind of has their consensus number 1. I think some people in the fantasy community trying to get clicks are going to rank certain guys higher.
Yep.
But I don't.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. You could make the argument for any of like the top, what'd you say, 6 guys?
Yeah, maybe. That they would be the top.
That they could finish as QB1. You wouldn't be surprised. Even I know you're not crazy about him, but for me, I think even Russell Wilson, depending on if he gets traded, bro. If Russ got traded to the Cowboys, I'm just saying,
he throws 600 times. It would be exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, but instead of having one of the worst offensive lines in the league, he would have one of the best with just as good, if not better, weapons.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's move to the next guy on the list, which is Josh Allen. Now, as we go through the offseason, I'll probably talk in more detail about what I feel about Mr. Josh Allen.
You got him 4. That's pretty low.
So I have Josh Allen 4. ECR is 2. You have him...
I have him 3.
3. I love Josh Allen. I really do. I think he's fantastic. He benefited... So I feel like he benefited a lot early in the season from an easy schedule. And then he got to the midway point and things started to get a little bit harder for him. And then there was that difficult schedule at the end. And I thought that was for sure going to end Lamar Jackson's QB1 season that he was heading for. And it didn't. And he ended up actually performing pretty well during the course of the postseason, with the exception of the game against New England, I believe. Or did he do well in that game? I can't remember.
Oh, he did really good, I think.
Oh, never mind. I lied.
He torched New England.
So, anyway, Josh Allen had a really good postseason, like
fantasy postseason,
that I didn't think he was going to have because of that tough schedule. And so that kind of solidified him for me as a top 5 quarterback. As far as thinking Josh Allen is going to be a top 2 or 3 quarterback, I think that if Dak had played and other guys were actually performing well, I don't know that Josh Allen would have finished as high as he did through 16 weeks, right? He was like QB2, I believe. So assuming that it's 17 weeks, I don't think anybody would have caught him. But as far as right now, I don't think that Josh Allen is going to repeat as the QB1 next year. I don't think he's going to even maybe be in the top 3. Just because I don't see Josh Allen as a consistent quarterback on a year-to-year basis. Like, he hasn't shown consistency in the regular season of the NFL season.
You just want to see it again?
I want to, if he does it again, but Kyler
is this a Bills thing for you?
Yeah, it's always going to be a Bills thing.
So we find the root of the problem.
What has Josh Allen always been? Inconsistent.
Yeah.
This year he wasn't. He was a lot better. But in the past he's been inconsistent.
Would you say Josh Allen has gotten better every year of his career?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the wide receivers have helped. But
yeah,
I could also see a situation where they draft a freaking running back or they bring in Aaron Jones. Or
so I could see,
and they start running it more, because that's why I didn't think that was my one drawback of Josh Allen not finishing as a QB1 this year, was because they were going to run the football a lot.
Yeah,
and that didn't happen.
I could see them try to run the ball more next year. I think they will. So that is something I would be concerned about. I still think he's good. And I don't think
I still have him ranked top 4, so it's not even like I'm saying. I'm just dialing it back a little bit. I would rather have.
And there are people that
guys ahead of him.
I think he'll probably be the number 2 guy, and he's not the number 2 guy in Fantasy Pros because he finished as the QB1, right?
Yeah.
So I think in a lot of boards he's going to be the QB2. I probably won't own any Josh Allen.
He's 310 right now.
Is that the second quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably won't own any Josh Allen this year just because of where he's going.
But do you feel safe? Like, where would you feel safe drafting Josh Allen this year based on performance last year?
See, it's a different argument for us because we don't like quarterbacks. Taking quarterbacks early. So, even though he's going to go late 3rd, early 4th, I wouldn't want to take him to, late 5th.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I just mean
I'm fine with him as the 3rd quarterback off the board, though.
Yeah, no, that's not a big deal. I just like 2 guys ahead of him. That's really more or less the situation.
And I might move him back a spot. Where I might have a very similar list to yours with your top 4, but I just want to see more. We'll talk about him when we get there, I guess.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next guy, Kyler Murray, who is number 3 ECR. I have him 2. You have him.
I also have him 2.
Okay, so I think Kyler has Lamar Jackson, who we'll talk about in a second.
Yep.
Is kind of one-dimensional.
Yes.
He regressed in the touchdown category this year. Like I said, we'll talk about that stuff in a second.
Which we predicted.
And he still had a really great rushing season. Kyler Murray brings at least, what do you want to say, 75% of the rushing that Lamar Jackson brings, with the ability to throw for around 4,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns on a yearly basis. And with Kyler Murray as quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, they're only going to get better. There's rumors that they're going to try to bring in a better running back. Don't believe the freaking Cliff Kingsbury hype man for his trash running backs.
Yeah.
Good God. You remember when he said Josh Allen's our quarterback when he first came in, and now he's saying who's that running back?
Josh Rosen, you mean?
Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen. Right. I don't even remember his name. I do this with Josh Rosen all the time because they're literally were the same at the time they got drafted. I'm like, why is there 2 Joshes getting drafted in the top 15?
3 picks within each other. 4 picks.
What's their running back backup behind Kenyon Drake?
Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. He said that Chase Edmonds is going to be the starting running back next year, and that he thinks he can be a workhorse. And I'm like, that's like a surefire
for this year.
For this year, he said that, and that's a surefire way to be like, we're drafting a running back.
Yeah, I would trust them to draft a running back if he said that. Cliff Kingsbury he just says stuff all the time, and then they do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed as him as a coach. So if he said that just means I feel like I'm more confident that they're going to get a running back.
I feel like Arizona is going to improve in a lot of areas.
I do too. Yeah. But my thing with Arizona, I don't want to go too far off the board here, but I just don't trust Cliff Kingsbury at all.
Yeah.
I don't trust him at all. And I don't know how good that offensive line is going to be, but I do think they'll be at least slightly better than they were last year.
Mm.
And Kyler's kind of on a similar path to Josh Allen, where he's just been, first 2 years he was better in his second year than his rookie year. He added DeAndre Hopkins to that team, or the Cardinals added DeAndre Hopkins to that team, and it really helped them, kind of like Diggs with Allen. But Diggs actually, I think, helped Allen a lot more than Hopkins helped Murray.
Experience.
Yeah, but you could see another jump this year. I think there's a lot to like about Murray. He's probably the closest thing to Lamar when it comes to running on the ground.
Yep.
And then, like you said, he's a better passer as well, with better weapons.
Yeah.
So, and we'll see. Maybe they even add another player to that offense other than running back. Like maybe they'll add a running back and like a third receiver or something, and a starting offensive lineman. If they do that through the draft, like they're gonna be stacked.
They'll be Gucci. Yeah, and I think like I said, like a lot of people were like looking for the pass catching part of Lamar's game to arrive, and I think you can get that with Kyler. Right now,
pass
Kyler.
throwing.
Yeah, did I say pass catching?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! I've been studying running backs all day, so
I know, me
forgive
too.
me. Yeah. So his pass throwing ability is better than Lamar's, but he can bring that rushing ability as well, which is why I think he's the QB too. Like outside of Mahomes, like I think that Kyler Murray in that offense can probably put up next season a lot of points. And he'll put up a lot of fantasy points. He was on pace to be the QB1 this year until I don't know what happened in the middle of the season.
He got hurt, and then he just also didn't play as well. I'm not sure.
But he right now is 402.
Tough schedule, too.
He's 402 in the early ADP here on Fantasy Football Calculator. So we'll see where he ends up. I actually think he'll probably end up a third-round pick.
Yep.
But we'll see where he goes. Let's talk about the next guy on our list, running through these very quickly, is Lamar Jackson, number 4. On the ECR, I have him number 5. You have him number 6 or 7. Have you decided yet?
Yeah, I'll put him at 6 now. Now,
all right. I feel like you're going to move Herbert ahead of him.
Actually, to be honest, I would have him at 7, but I think what the Ravens are going to do this offseason will make him move up to 6.
Okay, fair enough. So I personally have him at 5 because I think there's a little bit of inconsistency there. We just talked about how, I guess it's a good segue, how Kyler has the ability to throw the football, and Lamar is a good passer, but the reason why he was QB1 and he had a really good passing season the year before is because he threw 36 touchdowns, which was, I can't remember the touchdown rate, but it was absurd. It was like 3, 4, 5 percentage points ahead of everyone else.
Right.
And that is absolutely absurd for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, his percentage, like you said, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was not repeatable.
And so we predicted that it wasn't going to repeat. How many touchdowns did he throw this year? 26?
26, which isn't,
it's not bad. But how many passing yards? This is the kicker.
Yeah, 2,700.
So he had 2,700 passing yards. Kyler Murray had 3,900. So he had 1,200 more passing yards than Lamar Jackson.
To be fair, I actually thought Lamar wasn't awful at throwing the ball this year.
He's not. He's not a bad passer.
He gets.
They run at 120.
Exactly. That is my bigger problem with Lamar. It's not necessarily that I don't think he's like can't throw the ball at all, because I've seen some people talk about that. Like, he just can't throw the ball. He's a running back, all this stuff. It's like, no, he can throw the ball. He's not as good at it to me as like Kyler, Mahomes, or Josh Allen, but he's not the worst passer in the league. Like, you look at his numbers, that's pretty solid, and he doesn't have a great receiving core. Yeah. So I think the Ravens will add a receiver this year, but they're still going to run the ball a ton. And that's my biggest problem with Lamar. Yeah. And if he doesn't have that high touchdown percentage, I think he's just going to live as like the QB 5, 6.
How many rushing yards did he have this year? Was it 1,000? Did he reach 1,000, or was it around 900?
He reached 1,000, but it was barely. It was 1,005.
I mean, as long as you have that Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean, where he is.
Oh yeah, he'll still be top.
Yeah, like, he's gonna be like this past season. He played in 15 games. You give him one more game.
So gross.
He would have been the QB 6, right around where Rick has him. So I think for me, if they do start throwing the football a little bit more, you might see Lamar go up. But I like I said, I think 26 touchdowns is right around where he's gonna be. You know what I mean?
Agree. Yeah.
I don't. If he rushed like last year, he rushed for 200 more yards, and if he does that again, you definitely could see Lamar Jackson take a leap forward in these numbers and end up being top 4 or 5.
I think the only way that he takes a big lead, they add a receiver and
because that's only 20 extra fantasy points.
They throw the ball more. Because if he throws a ball 376 times again, he's not going to be a top 3.
Is that a 9 on the interception column?
Yes.
Oh, it's so gross.
I mean, that's not awful. Actually, it's not great for his
26 touchdowns and
no, that's not bad.
Is that 342?
9 interceptions on 26 touchdowns is actually pretty decent, but 9 interceptions on 376 attempts is not great.
Yeah, that's not great. So I think Lamar is like hovering. I do think he's a top 5 quarterback because of his ability. Like if he has a good season passing, he's gonna have his 1,000 yards rushing if he doesn't get hurt and his like 6 or 7 touchdowns. So if he does on the ground, so if he does that, he's top 5.
Yeah,
like easy money. So
I mean, my thing is there's just a lot of quarterbacks like Dak, who we'll get to, was on pace for being as good as he was.
Right.
There was a time where Russell Wilson was the QB1 for like the first 6 weeks of the season. Yeah. Kyler, Josh Allen, like there's just a lot of guys.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. And then the final quarterback that we'll talk about is Deshaun Watson. Wait, hold on a second. Is that right?
Yeah. Watson's 5.
All right. I have my 5 that I didn't tell you about. I have Dak Prescott 3, who we're not going to talk about.
He's 6 on this.
He's 6 on the ECR. So just to throw him in.
And I have Dak 4. And I think that's a steal at 6, by the way.
Yeah.
He was the QB2 last year before getting injured. It felt like he was averaging I think he was averaging almost 30 points a game.
Yeah.
He's on probably, you can make the argument, a top 3 offense in the league. So
now, are you concerned? Because we're not going to talk about Deshaun Watson on this podcast, but are you concerned about Dak Prescott's
You don't want to talk
injury?
about number 5, my number 5 guy.
I mean, we don't even reference that.
Yeah, no, a little.
I mean, we can if you want. I don't care. Because I have
we
Deshaun
don't have
Watson.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about 6, our top 6 quarterbacks.
Yes,
not our top 5
I'm
quarterbacks.
slightly concerned, but typically those.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of guys be fine coming back from those injuries at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
At worst, though, sometimes it does take a year. Like, remember Brady, his first year back on the ACL versus his second year? I thought, at least from what I can remember, he was a lot better in his second year. Just from what he looked like throwing the ball, he was more comfortable after suffering a major injury like that.
What foot was it?
I think it was his.
Was it? What is it?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure.
Because if it's his step, I don't know.
His plant foot.
Yeah, if it's plant foot, I know Brady was like when he tore his ACL, he was throwing off his front foot. So
right.
It's better if it was the front hand.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay though, but it is a concern.
Yeah, I think you got to throw that concern in there.
Yeah, but it's a concern that it's a risk I'm willing to take.
I think what for Dak Prescott is Mike McCarthy. Dak Prescott is Mike McCarthy's new Aaron Rodgers, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're going to throw it like 600 times.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to get a lot of fantasy points. So the only thing I have complaints about with Dak Prescott is that he has this really like great knack for rushing, and he just doesn't do it. And I'm like, Dak, just run it. And he'll probably never do it again after.
When you got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup, though. I mean,
but like there will be plays where everyone's covered, and he'll just launch it to a place where he shouldn't, or throw it away. When I'm like, no, you have an ocean of space to run it.
Well, he's definitely probably going to do that even less.
Yeah, that's true. So then we have our tight end segment of this podcast.
We have the exact same top 5.
So what we're going to do is we're going to skip over the ECR is the same too, so we'll just do that.
Yep.
So number 1, Travis Kelce, obvious. I don't think that's going to change at all. I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't change. So I think we're just going to say Travis Kelce.
To be honest,
is
though,
awesome.
I think this is last year.
Yeah, fair enough. What is he?
I think
32?
he's 32. It's an age where 31. I think. Actually, I don't know. But he's in his early 30s.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's the same age as Gronk, isn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
So he's in his early 30s,
and he's getting like he gets 10 targets a game. He's getting whacked in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
like,
the reason why he's been productive still is just because of when he's 31. And he'll turn 32 during the season. He's been productive because he kind of started late. I don't think he played his first NFL game until he was 24, 23 or something like that.
Yeah, and
he wasn't he wasn't good until he was like 26, 27, like starting to really get the targets. I think he was like 26. But either way, it was different. Like Gronk, when he was like 22 years old, was getting like 100 targets and stuff. So Kelce had a later start, but he's going to hit a wall eventually, like Gronk kind of did. And it's going to be sooner rather than later. I think this year he'll still be good with Mahomes, but I think this might be it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's now there is the conversation with Travis Kelce that we've had a million times, where he is getting drafted far too high. Right now he's 108.
Yep.
I'm starting to get this sense that as we, not to spend time on this, but as we get closer to the NFL draft and as we get closer to draft months of July and August, that this is going to change. Because I feel like this storm moving away from like where everyone was like, Travis Kelce, man. They're talking about him into the Super Bowl and first overall, and now the hype is starting to fade away a little bit. And as incredible of the season that he had last year, I think a lot of people are going to have a wake-up call, and they're going to be like, okay. And he's going to be a mid-second round pick. I have a feeling.
I hope so.
But then you also have running backs who end up getting hyped in. Like I had Antonio Gibson in the top 12 and I think I picked fake
James Robinson. I think I picked 12.
Yeah, and so but those guys are gonna start getting hyped in. You know what I mean? Like people.
If the Jaguars don't draft a running back, which is why I did that. But,
exactly. So anyway, Travis Kelce should be 1. Number 2 on my list and Rick's list is George Kittle. I think he is. I've talked about it last year. I talked about it this year. He's freaking injury prone, but I think he is the best pure tight end in the NFL.
Yes, 100%. I don't think
Travis
it's close.
Travis Kelce could be a big butt slot receiver.
Yeah,
but he can't really. The Chiefs fans are gonna hate me for this, but he can't really block. He doesn't really do much of anything else.
But he's not in the same like.
He just runs out. I want to know what percentage of plays he runs a route and what percentage of plays he blocks.
Oh, that's a very interesting stat. But yeah, no, Kittle's fantastic. I honestly want to even put him 1, but I'm not going to do it because it's the smart thing to not put him 1. But yeah, no, I love George Kittle. If he just stayed healthy, he would be right there with Kelce, if not better. There's a chance they switch quarterbacks this year, and if they don't, we've seen Kittle play good with Nick Mullins.
Yeah, right.
If they got like Deshaun Watson, oh my goodness, he might be number 1.
Wow, I'm typing in the wrong person's name. I don't. If they got Deshaun Watson, I would be sweaty. If they really got anyone to replace Jimmy G, I'd probably feel much better. But he's still 27 years old.
Even with Jimmy G, he's fine as long as he's healthy.
He just needs to stay on the field, and I think that's the biggest. That's the biggest hurdle that you have. That's why he is not. For me, like, yes, Travis Kelce probably had just one of the best pure statistical seasons for a tight end ever.
Yep.
But I think Travis Kelce has way more longevity in terms of, fantasy football over the next couple of years.
Kittle has more longevity?
Kittle has more longevity, not Kelce. And Kelce, like Rick said, is probably going to be done in a couple of years. So Kittle right now is 204, which is funny because he literally is almost a first-round pick. Didn't even... People are really overhyping the tight ends this year, I guess. The next guy on the list is Darren Waller. And you have him 3, right?
Yep.
That's interesting because...
Why?
The ECR on Darren Waller is 4.
Who is ahead of
Mark Andrews is 3.
Oh.
So on the ECR. So we have Darren Waller 3. We both like Darren Waller.
He was clearly the number 2 guy last year without Kittle.
I'm going to stick on Darren Waller train.
Yeah.
They're gonna draft another. They're gonna draft. They have Henry Ruggs. Surefire way to continue their streak of wide receivers is to draft Jalen Waddle.
Oh gosh,
it's just up to speed.
They are very interested in Juju. They're looking for another.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a report that came out.
Or Hunter Renfrow.
I know, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do add another receiver.
Yeah, they'll add another receiver. But we literally from the first season that Darren Waller was good, was it 2019?
Yeah.
I heard a report, and this is what sold me on Waller. It was like 3 months before the season started in 2019. And I heard a report for Darren Waller, and the guy said that he was talking to John Gruden behind the scenes, and John Gruden said, our offense runs through the tight end position. And I was like, this is easy money. This is like the easiest number.
Yep. This
is the easiest late round pick I've ever had in my life. So I drafted Darren Waller in all my leagues, and Darren Waller broke out. The big thing for Darren Waller is that the offense of that team hasn't changed. It still runs through the tight end position. Now, there have been rumors surrounding the Raiders this year with their quarterback situation too.
Yeah,
with Mariota.
I don't think
they're not going to trademark.
There was early reports during when the season was so like in early February, like a month ago, that they would be willing to trade Derek Carr and stuff. But then ever since then, there's been reports that Carr is their guy at least for now.
Yeah.
And they're looking to get rid of Mariota, not Carr. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so Carr staying there, it really doesn't change anything. I don't think if they bring in a veteran wide receiver like Juju, I think that might pull back some of the target share for Waller.
Bro, there was a game where he had 17 targets, 13
That's what I'm saying.
catches,
The whole
200
offense.
yards, and 2 touchdowns.
I don't know why he does it, but the whole offense runs through that tight end position.
But then there's games where he gets like 3 catches for 30 yards,
those games where they blow teams out.
2 catches for 9 yards.
Oh God.
No, they're see, it doesn't even make sense because one game he would get 2 catches, and they got blown out. But then one game he got 3 catches for 30, and they blew they beat the other team. They blew out the other team. So it really doesn't it doesn't matter if they win or lose.
He's kind of
it's just
like
totally
he's like
random.
tipping he's dipping his toes into the top 3 tight end sector
Yeah.
where Zach Ertz used to be.
I will say,
and he's still got a little bit of that
If-
mid-range tight end
yes, yeah.
tendency.
If you could look up where he was tight end, finishing from week 13, I think, to 17.
13 to 17.
Yeah, he was ridiculous in those weeks. Oh crap! I just dropped my
think he
water.
was better.
1, 2, 3.
I think he was better than Kelce. Yeah, 89 fantasy points through those 4 weeks, weeks 13 to 17. He played 5 games.
How many more? Wait, check 12 to 17 because it might have been. If not, I don't know. Was it even more?
91 fantasy points
Yeah.
through 6 games.
I mean, he was a beast.
Oh, that was in standard. Let me give you the real number. 115 fantasy points for Darren Waller in half PPR. So, yeah, he's absurd. He's Darren Waller. I don't understand why people can't just get on the Darren Waller train.
It's because he's not.
I had people out here in the fantasy community hyping up Mark Andrews over Darren Waller. I'm like, get out of here. Fake news.
It was fake news. And I think it's just because he's not as big of a
going
name.
210 now, though.
Oh yeah, never mind. I don't want him.
Yeah. I want Darren Waller, but I don't want him at 210.
Right.
I actually don't know that that's going to hold.
Yep. I don't know either.
We'll see. And then the number 4 guy, I'm a little bit more. Is this the same?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised.
We literally had the exact same. I thought about putting Andrews at 4, but I just
I
don't like Andrews.
so we have TJ Hockenson, number 4. Right now he's 607, which I don't know, man. I might do that.
Stop.
It hurts.
I don't know. It depends. Hawkinson could be
Gronk
lower for me.
711.
As of right
Who
now,
the frick is drafting Gronk 711?
I don't know. That's insane. But as of right now, he's the only weapon on that team. Marvin Jones is a free agent. Kenny Golladay is a free agent. So as of today, TJ Hockenson is going to get all the targets from Jared Goff,
He has a lot
in
of
my
positional
opinion.
opportunity right now.
Now, what they do, they might draft
Yeah.
one guy. They might draft 2 guys. They might draft a guy and sign a guy. So I don't know what the situation is going to end up like because I also don't know how good Jared Goff is going to be with TJ Hockenson. So there's question marks. But as of today, in the situation, what it's looking like and what's on that roster, I like TJ Hockenson. And I like him at 4 ahead of Mark Andrews.
And I think the interesting thing is a lot of people look at Hawk and they probably think, because he was one of the most consistent guys on the field at the tight end position. He wasn't elite. You know what I mean? He didn't have I don't think he ever finished over 12 fantasy points. Or no, that's probably.
He was
say over
he was
15.
consistently getting 11 to 12 a week.
Yeah, and then but he never had a George Kittle 20 plus or Travis Kelce 20 plus point game, and I was waiting for it. I was waiting for him just to blow up, and it never happened.
Yep.
And so, but I think I don't know what Goff is going to look like in Detroit. I'm going to go out on a limb and say not good.
Yeah.
So, but he was throwing it to the tight end position quite a bit towards the back end of his career with the Rams. And that was because the Rams shifted their offensive scheme away from, I guess, a zone run.
Yep. They went to a 2 tight end set.
Yeah, they went to a 2 tight end situation. So I think for TJ Hockenson, I don't know what this. Who's the freaking coach? You said he's a hype guy.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot his name.
I forgot his name too, but he's insane.
Does he like to? Does he? Is his offenses use the tight end a lot? I don't.
He's a tight ends coach. Actually, he was a tight ends coach.
Let's go, dude.
And with the Saints.
I mean, so, I'll stick with the Hawk.
It's Dan Campbell, right? No, not Dan Campbell.
No, that's not right.
Wait, is it?
All I can think of is
soup
when you say that.
It is Dan Campbell. Yeah, it's Dan Campbell.
Yo, dude, he looks like he played in the NFL a couple years ago.
We're gonna bite your kneecaps off, and we're gonna compete.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's
we're in trouble.
Former tight end and who's the head coach for the Detroit Lions. So yeah, he played tight end.
All right, that's cool. So for Hockenson, I think, like I said, I think that Goff is not a downgrade for Hockenson, and I don't think it's an upgrade for Hockenson. I think it's right even.
Okay,
And I think this is Hawk's second year. That was Hawk's second year, so this is his third year in the NFL. He was drafted as a top 10 tight end, and it's not like he hasn't been getting better.
Yeah, he has been getting
faster
better.
than any tight end growth.
I mean,
that I've seen.
year 3, if you're a really good tight, this would be his real breakout year too.
So, but the problem is that 607 price tag is just.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little bit too much for me.
I don't know. Yep.
Let's talk about the next guy and the final guy, Mark Andrews. I've talked about this before, and my opinions haven't changed from this year to last year, or last year to this year. Mark Andrews, I think has a major problem, and it's his snap percentage, and it continues to be his snap percentage.
Yep.
For some reason, and I think it's because he's not a great blocker. They just don't want him on the field on run plays, and that's what drops his percentage. He's always on the field on pass plays, which is good. But with Lamar only throwing 2,700 passing yards, and the fact that they might bring in another wide receiver this year through the draft or through free agency, it would be such a juju thing to do, go to Baltimore Ravens too. Wouldn't that be such a juju thing? That is
disgusting. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I feel like Mark Andrews is going to get he's going to get the bad end of the stick when they sign a wide receiver, and so. A lot of people love Mark Andrews. I don't mind him. He was one of the guys that I also projected in 2019 to break out like Waller, and he did.
Yep.
But I personally just don't. I don't see him. He doesn't look to me like a top 3 tight end, like with the Wallers and the Kittles and the Kelces. And a lot of people think that's what he is, but I just don't see it.
I think he has the capability and the potential to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't like the snap percentage. I don't like how many times the Ravens throw the ball, and I don't like the potential of adding another guy to the offense in an already limited passing game.
Right.
You're not gonna like this, but I've seen a lot of Rashad Bateman linked to the Ravens, or Rondell Moore. Someone in the who could,
2 of my favorite rookie wide receivers.
Yeah,
you're just gonna rip
someone
my soul
who could
out.
fall. Someone who could fall to the back, or Jalen Waddle. Although I don't know.
Please let it be Jalen Waddle.
Someone who could fall to the back end of the first round.
I doubt it's going to be that because they have Marquise Brown who runs super fast straight.
Yeah, I think they like Bateman a lot, is what I heard. You look very disappointed, but
I'm very. Please, somebody take him in like the top 15.
Yeah, but if that happens, like I don't know. I'm not crazy about Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I might even move him down, but I don't know who to move him down for.
Bro. Yeah, I don't know. Not while Drew Lock is there. I love Noah Font. Still, I would take him.
I got a dynasty question for you because that's our last tight end. Do you have anything else to say on Andrews? Because I do have.
No, we're done.
I have a dynasty question. This pertains to my dynasty team 10-man band. It's the league we're in. So I have a question, man. I offered the 307 for Cole Kmet. Would you take that?
No.
You wouldn't take that.
Not even close.
Okay, all right. So I got to give more.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be asking for like an early second.
Where the frig is Adam Trotman? He's the Saints. I'm trying to snag a cheap tight end.
You might be able to get Trotman for a third, but I don't know. You offer that for Trotman, you might be able to get that for Trotman. You're not getting that.
Okay, so I thought I was insane for giving up a 307 for a tight end, but
no, yeah, that's not even. You're not even in the ballpark on that one.
At first I've had so many dynasty leagues. I thought I had
because he was taken like mid-second.
I thought I had Irv Smith. So I was like, I can just trade Irv Smith for him.
But you didn't have Irv Smith.
But I didn't have Irv Smith, so I'm like,
yeah, I'm in a different league. That's always an issue.
So mad. I'm like, I wish I
always
had him.
do that. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this.
Rookie breakout.
Okay, you just gave us a heart attack. Trying to hit the outro button.
I literally thought, yeah.
Why was that so loud?
I don't know.
There's no reason for that to be
loud.
I
don't know. The guy who made the drop like 3 years ago just wanted to rip people's ears off, I guess.
So.
Anyway, that does it for the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Check out our website. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And Thursday, we'll see you then.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.